Good morning, everybody. Tracy Brown here. It's a not so human morning as usual, so I thought I'd sit outside in a different area today and hang out with you guys on Q&A Friday. So it is Friday. I'm here to answer your questions, and I had one question. It's a big, huge, broad one, but we'll do several minutes on it and see what we come up with. So if you're wanting to ask a question as I'm speaking, please put the message in here, and I will answer it live. So I do this every Friday around this time between, 8:30, 8:40, usually on 8:40 Eastern in the morning, and we bring up all kinds of topics, whether it's anything food, health related, whatever, recovery, body image. Let's see here. Good morning. So anything recovery related, anything related to intuitive eating, health at every size, wellness, navigating living in this culture that's very much in love with worshiping thinness and leanness and controlling food and all that stuff. So this is what we're here to talk about. All right, so I'm just going to get right to it. Is that I had a question around, gosh, what do I do with this diet talk in my head? And so it's first important to, for you to have a framework around like what it feels like to you and how you label it. So some people call it, oh, that voice, that diet talk voice, like you shouldn't eat that, or that's too much, without any, physical feedback around that, if that's actually true or not. Some people call it an eating disorder voice. Some people, I tend to just I tend to defer to what you feel like it feels like, whether it's an inner critic, if it feels like just this motor, like you kind of recognize what it is now and you know where it came from, like you might even remember where you learned that phrase, what magazine, what person you heard that from, that's kind of gotten internalized into you, and now you think it's true even though you kind of know that it's harmful. So anyway, I tend to, when I'm working with clients, help them recognize when that motor's going. And if it feels like it's going for you constantly, that's usually a sign of a lot of repression, of a lot of emotion, and or a lot of times when we have a lot of food obsession, we're underfed, and your body's screaming for food, essentially, and it won't let you stop having food thoughts, even if they're really negative. So something to think about is, for some of you watching or listening to this, if you've been either weight repressed or suppressing your weight, trying to control your weight lower than it needs to be, and or you've been food restricting, you're going to have a lot of food thoughts just because you're underfed. And the fast way and the most effective way to fix a lot of that, probably 75% of that, is to eat more food. Eat more food, and some of the thoughts will actually start to dissipate on its own because you're not malnourished. Your brain's job is to keep you out of danger, at least to try to. Some of it's not very helpful, and some of it's very helpful. And this is one of the times where it's like, if you're food obsessing, it's probably it may be because you're not eating enough. Now, that's not always the case. And people who've been in recovery and have eaten more food and gotten to a weight where it's like, okay, I'm restored, I'm not going anywhere, this is where I need to be. There's still going to be diet thoughts and good food, bad food thoughts. And so now you have to decide what tools you want to use for that. And the first step I would talk to you about is looking at your distortions. And I spent a lot of time in sessions just educating around, like, well, who says fat is bad or sugar is bad, and where did that come from, and what would happen if you have a certain amount, and what would that mean about you? To answer those questions and to look at what's distorted, what's magical thinking, and look at the probability of things. So you kind of have to answer those questions for yourself. Like, okay, how much sugar would it actually take, and what's bad, and where did I get that from, that I heard that sugar is toxic or that sugar is addictive, and is that actually true, that, like, that's actually true? And you could do the research on that. I don't want to spend hours right now on this video talking to you about that science. Like, actually people eat sugar all the time. It's just that they don't recognize it in the foods they eat because it's not been doomed and labeled bad for you, because it comes in a different form. So anyway, a whole other topic, we're not going to go there. There's a lot of things. I'm going to do a blog post kind of accumulating some information for you about that at some point this fall. So anyway, so you have to look at your distortions. You also have to think about, you know, when you're like, okay, that was too much food. Again, too much for what? For whom? What will happen? And if the answer is, oh my gosh, I'm afraid I'm going to gain weight, then okay, gain what? Gain weight, and what will happen? And then what? And what will that mean about you? And you got to start just digging in and doing that work. So that's one way. You could just start to actually peel back the layers and actually question it. You could also, if you're not in the mood for all that, or it's not convenient, or you're at work, or whatever you're doing, you can just say, basically, I'm not listening to that right now. I'm going to honor my body, and basically buzz off. That's something you can do too. The other thing is, you could, and this is the third thing, is to recognize that that's sometimes, you could even know that's distortion. You can even know that like 99% of some of those thoughts aren't true. But it is a way that your nervous system is actually trying to help you with something from the neck down, usually sensorially or emotionally, that you haven't either processed, made contact with, have been ignoring or repressing, but it's there. And it's a way that it's the autopilot way your brain knows how to help you manage things that feel uncomfortable. And so this is what it boils down to at some point in everybody's work, is like, you will have a thought of like, wait a minute, whoa, I don't believe that bagel is going to make me weigh when I'm not supposed to weigh. I don't really believe that. Just because somebody said that doesn't mean it's true. What's going on in my system right now? And most of the time, if you get good at noticing your state, you'll notice like, wow, I'm pretty up, I'm pretty buzzy, or I'm feeling I've been kind of feeling out of it and actually kind of checked out. And my brain is doing this to help me manage whatever is going on in my system. And again, that can be just from a nervous system state of something coming up that's, you know, beyond your window of tolerance to deal with. And or it could just be straight up, I know that I'm uncomfortable about this, you know, this free time, this test, this space, this interaction that's getting ready to happen or that just happened. I know I feel happy, mad, sad, or afraid. And this is what my brain does because this is what I'm used to doing. And so my job is to decode that and what's actually going on, what do I actually need. So those are some 3 different ways that you can work with that diet talk. And, you know, no amount of probably you watching my videos or reading my blog post, you know, just knowing that isn't going to fix stuff. It's actually, you have to dig in and do the work. So I'm here to support you in saying that, like, yeah, this is the next step. You can read all the books about intuitive eating you want, but I think if we don't experientially work with this, we're just going to keep looping and looping and looping, and then wonder why that, you know, we're still trying to figure out intuitive eating, you know, 10 years later. It's because we got to dig in. And if that's feeling too much, and that's where the support comes in a lot of times. Like, I had support. I kind of knew that, like, I was even repressing stuff. I just didn't know how to hold space for that. It was just so overwhelming because I didn't have the skills for it. And that's where, you know, working with somebody can be really, really helpful, just to co-regulate with somebody else's groundedness around that like makes it feel more manageable. And so again, a lot of people don't work with anybody and learn intuitive eating, but I think there's a level of, we all can learn to grow our capacity for emotional resilience and feeling more competent, especially with like sensations and emotion. Not everybody needs that support, but some of you do. And I know I did. So if you need that, let me know. Don't keep yourself spinning in this constant looping of like, it feels like it's getting easier and then something snaps you back. That's your body probably feeling overwhelmed with everything that you're experiencing or things that are coming up in your awareness that you didn't know about, you forgot about, or that's been painful. So I encourage you to use some of the tools. I know I've put out a couple worksheets this week that you guys can use to help you with that. If you need more help, please reach out to me and make the process a little easier for yourself if you need to. So anyway, those 3 tips, use those today. Let me know how they work, or just pick one. and do it one time today and just see what happens. You know, not one tool is going to work for everyone or every circumstance. So you might have to, you definitely will have to mix and match. The bigger your toolbox is, the more likely it is for you to be able to settle yourself into actually honoring your body, honoring your recovery, and doing what's life affirming. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this Friday Q&A. I will be doing it every Friday. Please show up. I love it when you come. And if you don't, that's okay too. Leave me messages along the week of things you want me to discuss. One last thing. Yeah, share this with people you think that would benefit. That's why I do these. I don't do it just to watch myself talk. So this is meant to be helpful and meaningful. And if not, let me know and we'll do something different. So thank you so much. Take care and have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.